الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا عاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد. Respectable حاضرين, those who are present, والسامعين والناظرين, those who are listening and viewing. Respectable brothers, dear children, mothers and sisters listening, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, all praise is for our Creator, Allahu Rabbul Izzah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower His peace and blessings upon the best of creation, our intercessor on the day of Qiyamah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also send His peace and blessings upon His family, His companions, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. We will commence in the best possible way by listening to verses from the glorious Quranul Kareem. I will call upon Maulana Ubaid Ismail to come forward and recite verses from the Holy Quran. And before we do so, I will humbly request जितने भी सादात इकराम हैं, उलमा हुफाज, आप आगे तशरीफ लाए. जज़ाकल्लाह. मौलाना अहमद साहब.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. صدق الله العظيم.
I will call upon Muhammad, who is the son of Abdul Munaf Sonaji, to come forward and recite verses of Qasida Burda Sharif. MashaAllah.
Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah wa sallam alayka ya Habiballah. Mawlaya salli wa sallim دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم محمد سيد القونين والثقلين محمد سيد القونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن نجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم ثم الرداء عن أبي بكر وعن عمر ثم الرداء عن أبي بكر وعن عمر وعن علي وعن عثمان ذي الكرم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا وسي الكرم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. I will call upon Hafiz Tahir Owen Saab to come forward and recite Nat Maqbool Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sallallahu Alaihi Ya
رسول الله وسلم عليك يا حبيب الله قمر سيدنا النبي قمر وجميل سيدنا النبي وجميل وكف المصطفى كالورد نادي الله الله وعتر يبقى إذا مست عيادي الله الله وأمن ونوحى كل العباد وعمن ونوحى كل العباد وعمن ونوحى كل العباد حبيب الله يا خير البرايا يا قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل ولا ذل له بل كان نورا الله الله تنال الشمس منحو البذور الله الله ولم يكن الحودا لولا ظهورا ولم يكن الحودا لولا زحورا ولم يكن الحودا لولا زحورا وكل القون عناه بنور طه يا قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل. ما شاء الله.
We'll call upon Muhtaram Mushtaq Ibrahim Saab to come forward. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah
wa sallam alayka ya Habiballah. رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے میری ساری خوشی آپ ہے رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے میرے دامن میں زہرا خیرات ہے میرے دامن میں زہرا کی خیرات ہے کیوں ہو مجھ کو کمی آپ ہے کیوں ہو مجھ کو کمی آپ ہے رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے کون ہوگا امام شفیع انبیاء کون ہوگا امام شفیع انبیاء بول سارے نبی آپ ہے بول سارے نبی آپ ہے رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے ساری دنیا میں الطاف کو آبرو ساری دنیا میں الطاف کو آبرو جن کے صدقے ملی آپ ہے جن کے صدقے ملی آپ ہے رونقِ زندگی آپ ہے میری ساری خوشی، آپ ہے، آپ ہے.
انشاءاللہ مفتی صاحب کی خطاب سے پہلے آخر میں قبلہ حافظ سلیمان صاحب کچھ منقبت کے اشعار پیش کریں. صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ. باغ جنت کے بیرو مد خانے اہل بیت، باغ جنت کے بیرو مد خانے اہل بیت، تم کو مزدہ نار کا اے دشمنان اہل بیت. کس زبان سے ہو بیان عز شان اہل بیت، کس زبان سے ہو بیان عز شان اہل بیت. مدعو گوئے مصطفیٰ مدعو خوان اہل بیت، مدعو گوئے مصطفیٰ مدعو خوان اہل بیت. ان کی پاکی کا خدائے پاک کرتا ہے بیان، ان کی پاکی کا خدائے پاک کرتا ہے بیان. آیت تطہیر سے ظاہر ہے شان اہل بیت، آیت تطہیر سے ظاہر ہے شان اہل بیت. اہل بیت پاک سے گستاخیاں بے باقیاں، اہل بیت پاک سے گستاخیاں بے باقیاں. لعنت اللہ علیکم دشمنان اہل بیت، لعنت اللہ علیکم دشمنان اہل بیت. ان کے گھر میں بے اجازت جبرائیل آتے نہیں، ان کے گھر میں بے اجازت جبرائیل آتے نہیں. قدر والے جانتے ہیں قدر و شان اہل بیت، قدر والے جانتے ہیں قدر و شان اہل بیت. بے ادب گستاخ فرقے کو سنا دے اے حسن، بے ادب فرقہ، بے ادب گستاخ فرقے کو سنا دے اے حسن. یوں کہا کرتے ہیں سنی داستان اہل بیت، یوں کہا کرتے ہیں سنی داستان اہل بیت.
نحمده ونصلي
ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فقال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين المختار الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. इंतहाई मोहतरम और मुकर्रम उलमाए ज़वील एहतराम व सादात किराम व हाज़रीन व हाज़िरात, सबसे पहले हम और आप मिलकर इंतहाई अदब व एहतराम के साथ आका इनामदार हम सब के ताजदार हुज़ूर ख़ातमुल मुरसलीन रहमतुल लिल आलमीन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की बारगाह में मिलकर दुरूद पाक का हदिया पेश करें और पढ़ें। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना व हबीबिना व शफ़ीइना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन व आलिहि व सहबिहि व बारिक वसल्लिम सलातन व सलामन अलैका या रसूलल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु तआला अलैहि वसल्लम। फिर एक बार हम इस इंतहाई बाबरकत महफिल में हाजिर हैं। In these gatherings, what we are trying to achieve, first thing is the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by mentioning these great personalities of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then we also are trying to achieve that what can we learn from their lives, the things they have done, and how can we implement these great personalities, seerah and biography in our lives. What we have seen today is quite amusing. We have a young boy who is probably 11, 12. He was praising Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And then you had Mushtaq Bhai, who is over 65, and he was praising Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From these two, we can understand and learn that there is no restrictions. Especially in our masjid, we do not restrict people to come on mic. If you want to praise Rasulullah, if you want to do hamd of Allah, you're most welcome, and you come and become an example for those who are present here. You should never be shy when it comes to expressing your love to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. The companions of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, in their entire life, this factor, that never being shy to express their love towards Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you will find everywhere, every single moment of their lives when you read the lives of Ashabi Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. There have been many Sahaba. We listen to the Khulafa of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam up to the life of Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. If you're focused and ponder upon that every single one of them had a great connection with Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is one of the quality that somebody who is very close to Allah, somebody who is a true believer and lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you get close to them, they may have 100,000 followers. 100,000 followers, but every single one of them, they believe that this personality loves me the most. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam had thousands of companions, but every single companion felt as if they were loved the most. This is the quality, sometimes our children, and this is something we need to understand, that if you have two children, if you have a boy and a girl, from the young age, if you discriminate, they don't forget. it remains in their mind that this is what my parents used to do. कि लड़के को आप प्रेफरेंस देंगे, लड़की को आप प्रेफरेंस नहीं देंगे, तो उनके बचपन से उनके जहन में वो बात बैठ जाती है. रसूल करीम अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम, he treated every single companion and every one of them felt that they are the closest to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet alaihissalatu wasalam, he taught us, as a parent, we should understand that. Among these great companions, the one as Sunni who we proud to talk about, the one who we prove our Sunniyat using his tazkirah and mentioning him, is Sayyiduna Ali Sher Khuda Mushkil Kusha radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He is one of the amazing Sahabi Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And not only Sahabi, scholars have mentioned that you find personalities, they have a couple of qualities which you can talk about. You look at people who have good qualities, some of them might be couple of qualities, 4 or 5 dimensions that you can talk about, and you can make people understand how great they were. When it comes to Hazrat Sayyidina Mawla Ali Sher Khuda Mushkil Kusha radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, they say that there isn't any quality which Hazrat Sayyidina Ali did not have. You want to talk about the simple life he had? You can talk for hours and months and days. You want to talk about how brave he was? You can talk for as long as you want. You want to talk about how clean and pure in terms of character he was? You can talk for months and days. These are just the glimpse, but these companions are such that we can spend our entire life praising them and talking and taking the lessons from their lives. Will continue to do so. Sayyidina Mawla Ali Sher Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was one of the very chosen companion of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. How do we claim, and why do we claim that he was very chosen one? If you look at the beginning of Sayyidina Ali Sher Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, you will understand. And if you ponder upon the word Ali, what is the root of it? What is the madda? We have students of knowledge here. It comes from Ain Lam Ya. And the meaning of Ain Lam Ya, if you put it in simple words, is somebody which is high, or something which is high. Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's name in itself tells you that Ali is not a normal person. Ali is the one who is being raised by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and elevated in darajat by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, his name is Ali ibn Abi Talib, son of Abu Talib. His great father, Janabe Abu Talib, he has spent his entire life from the time when Rasulullah announced about his prophethood and he came under the care of Janabi Abu Talib. He has spent his entire life defending Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he went through far and wide. He has spent his wealth, he has spent his time, he also has spent his authority over people to support Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's mother, her name was Fatima binte Asad radiyallahu ta'ala anha. She was the first woman who accepted Islam and migrated. There were men, Ashab-e Kiram, among men who migrated, but among the women, if there was first one who migrated, it was the mother of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Fatima binte Asad radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was born 30 years after Ashab-e Fil. So it's quite a long distance between Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam when he was born and Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala. He was very young. At a young age, There was a time when his father, Janabi Abu Talib, was going through some very hard time. And he had many children. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he called Hazrat Hamza, Hazrat Abbas, and he said to them that Abu Talib, my uncle, is going through some difficult time. And he has many children. Why don't we take each one child and look after them so we can share some burden of my uncle? They agreed. And this was the luck and fortunate Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was, that he came under the care of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam at the very young age of 9. A young child who was just going, to become somebody that the world will remember. He comes under the care of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam at the age of 9. When our child is 9 or at the young age, responsible parents, what do? They look after everything. How he talks, what kind of friends he has, when he comes home, what kind of words comes out from his mouth. Is he swearing? Is he falling into the company that he shouldn't be? But in the case of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was in the care of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. And what can be greater thing than to be under the care of Huzur Akram alayhi salatu wasalam? Very young age, he came in the care of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He looked at Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. How Prophet talks, how Prophet alayhi salam walks, how Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he talks to people. He observed everything. And we need to remember, when a child looks at their parents, they look at their parents as their ideal. When a son looks at his father, the way father talks, son looks at his father as an ideal for him. If there are husbands or if there are wives that in front of your child you are using the language that you shouldn't use, you need to remember your child. He may be 6 or 7, he is not too young. He understands or she understands. They know that my parents are using this language. It is okay for me to use those words. We need to understand that. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, the way he looked after Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, shows that when Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he announced about his prophethood, he was given the wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded that now is the time that you invite people to Islam. One day, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw that Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he's performing salah. He didn't know at that time what Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is doing. He was Sayyidah Khadija behind Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam during the night. Everyone is sleeping. Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is standing worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu observed. And then when they finished praying, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked that, what were you doing? Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, to that young boy, what could you explain to the young child if they ask you, what is this action? At the time when people did not know what salah was, at the time when people did not know the concept of oneness and wahdaniyat, and children's mind work different way. I teach one of the child who is 7 years old, and a couple of weeks ago he asked me a question. He asked me 2 questions on 2 different occasions. The first question he asked me, he said, what is the gender of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What is the gender of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So when a child is young, and if he asks you a question like this, you don't just ignore them. You don't just tell them, you don't need to worry about that. You answer them according to their age and you explain to them. They may come up with the questions which may not be appropriate. If they ask you, can Allah do roly-poly? As children play certain games, and when they hear about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have these questions. You don't just shut them. You don't tell them, you shouldn't be talking like this. They are very young. When Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he asked this question to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, in very simple manner. He explained to him that I worship to one Allah. I worship to one God, and what you observed, it was the act of worship that we offered to that one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet said, if you would like, I invite you to accept that religion. At the age of 9. Amazing. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam is giving da'wah to that young boy who was under his care. Where are those who talk about, imposing things about Islam on other people? There is no compulsion in Islam. There is no force in Islam. Up to the extent when you get married, your parents cannot force you. فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُمْ. हमारे बुजुर्ग शायद ये समझें कि मौलाना जो है हमारे नौजवानों के दिमाग खराब कर रहे हैं. ये इस्लाम का हुक्म है. फनकिहू मा ताब लकुम. निकाह उससे करो जो तुम्हें पसंद हो, क्योंकि रहना पूरी जिंदगी तुमको है. अगर तुम पसंद नहीं करोगे तो फिर ब्लेम किसको डालोगे? माँ बाप को. आपने पसंद किया था, देखो कैसे निकली. There is no force in Islam. Although I always advise young boys when they come to us asking that I like this person, my parents are disagreeing with me. We always tell them that you must try and convince your parents. If there is nothing wrong with the girl, then you must make your parents agree. Do not run away and do nikah. Because you need blessings from your parents. You can't just make your own life. You can't leave your parents. Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said to Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, and Mufti Jalaluddin Amjadi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he writes, that Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, I would like to consult with my father, Abu Talib. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said to Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that do not consult now, because openly Prophet did not start giving da'wah to people. First person who accepted Islam was Hazrat Bibi Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha. But next day, Hazrat Sayyidina Ali comes. So Monday, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam invited him to the Islam. Next day, on Tuesday, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu comes and he says that I would like to enter in the fold of Islam. So after Sayyidah Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha, the first one who accepted the call of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, it was Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So you can imagine how pure his soul was, that from the very young age, he remained in the custody of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He was raised by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and at the age of 9 or 10, he accepted Islam. A young Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allahu Akbar. And that was the result, that being close to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, that we see the reflection during the night of Prophet's migration. When Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam migrated, for somebody to remain in that house when Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is gone, it takes a lot of courage. Why? Because the house of Prophet ﷺ, it was completely surrounded by enemies. And what kind of enemies? With open swords. They were waiting. They knew that Prophet is going to leave for Medina. They were waiting with their open swords, that as soon as Muhammad comes out from his room, these are our swords, and there will be his neck. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He chose Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to be with Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam when he was leaving. Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, he said to Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that I will be leaving for Medina. This is my bed. You rest for the whole night. When you wake up, you go out, there are some belongings of the people of Makkah. You give them those belongings and then you come to Madinatul Munawwara. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed him? To give belongings of people. Trustworthiness. Amanat. That Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam was given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this amazing quality. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam fulfilled that even when he was leaving that city. He knew that some of those belongings might be those of the enemies. Prophet still did not keep. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he fulfilled his promise of looking after the belongings of people, and he appointed Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Now, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he woke up in the morning and he says that, I woke up without any fear. I had no fear. When I woke up in the morning, I came out of the house of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam. I remained in Makkah for 3 days. How many? For 3 days I remained in Makkah. I gave everything that belonged to people, and then I reached to Madinatul Munawwara. Now, if you look at this story from the other side, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam was about to be attacked by the enemies. Yes? Many good friends you have, when you are traveling with them, and if you are at fault, and if you face the accident and police come, you'll run away. Why? You don't want to be, named with him. He committed a crime. In this place, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he left Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Sayyidina Ali remained in the bed of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, knowing that there is a danger, knowing that there are enemies who are waiting outside for me. But Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was one of the greatest courageous Sahabi Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and therefore his title was Asadullah. When we hear in the Jummah khutbah, Asadullahil Ghalib. What does Asadullah mean? The lion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not just the lion of Allah, Asadullahil Ghalib, the lion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is always controlling things. He is, the one who is above. He is the one who has the power. This is Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And then Mufassirun, they have mentioned, they say that As-Sawa'iq al-Muhriqa, one of the amazing book, if you'd like to read in detail about these Khulafa and the Ahl Bayt, they say that among all the Ashabi Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companions from Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu till the last one, all of these companions, they have fada'il, they have maratib, and there are fazail that's been mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. But with the hawala of Sayyidina Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, sahibi As-Sawa'iq al-Muhriqa, he says that ma ja'a li ahadim min al-fada'ili ma ja'a li aliyin. The amount of ahadith and the virtues that's been mentioned in the ahadith of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam for Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that many virtues in number has never been mentioned for any other Sahabi. This is Sayyidina Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he is stating. And then another fact, the Imam Nisai as well, he is mentioning that لم يرد في حق أحد من الصحابة بالأسانيد الحسان أكثر مما جاء في علي رضي الله تعالى. That with this Sahih Sanads, what is Sahih Sanad? We are not talking about the fabricated one, because Mawzu Ahadith, fabricated Ahadith cannot be taken for any purpose. They are rejected completely. But then within Ahadith you have different levels. At the top it will be Sahih. Within Sahih you have then different stages. Then you have Hasan. Then you have, within Hasan you have different stages. At the bottom then you have Hadith Da'if. In the virtues and the Fada'il, Da'if Ahadith are accepted, because they are not about Ahkam. do's and don'ts. They are not about do's and don'ts, they are about the virtue of someone. Therefore, dhaif ahadith are accepted and taken, and it is not only Ahlus Sunnati wa Jama'ah, including Ibn Taymiyyah and likes of him, they also accepted. The dhaif ahadith can be taken for the fada'il. And the fadail of Ashab-e Kiram, there are many ahadith which are weak. The chains are weak. And therefore, they are accepted even though they are da'if in the fadail of Ashab-e Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But here what's been mentioned by Imam Nisai is saying that the amount of Sahih ahadith which has been mentioned in the books of ahadith about the fadail and the virtues of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, there isn't any Sahabi upon whom so these kind of Sahih ahadith has been mentioned in the books of ahadith. This is one of the great virtue of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Let's look at some of those ahadith which are the most Sahih. Shaykhain, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, they both mention this hadith in their Sihah. And many Sahaba, there are so many names of Sahaba mentioned here. I'll mention Zayd ibn Arqam radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one of the narrator of this Sahabi, he's mentioning this hadith. Now listen to this carefully. أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خلف علي بن أبي طالب في غزوة تبوك. We heard about Ghazwa Tabuk. How far is Tabuk from Medina? 450, mashallah. You still remember from yesterday. Approximately 420 to 50 miles from Medina to Tabuk. At the time when these great Sahaba, and how many Sahaba they were taking part in Tabuk? Approximately 42 to 45,000 companions. Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, at this occasion, he said to Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu that you will remain in Medina. Khallaf Ali ibn Abi Talib fi ghazwati Tabuk. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he commanded Sayyidina Ali to remain in Medina at the time of Ghazwa Tabuk. Now imagine, a person like Sayyidina Ali, who has spent his entire life fighting for the sake of Allah, the entire months and years in jihad and fighting for the deen of Islam, he is being told at this occasion that you will remain in Medina. Faqal, he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he felt upset about it. Not that Prophet said to him, stay behind, because he couldn't participate now. Prophet said he had to listen, not like us. Yes, we know ahadith. We know that Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam said, Qurratu aini fi salah, that the coolness of my eyes is in salah. We still forget. We still miss. We still don't pray. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a steadfast sahabi of Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that once Prophet said he was going to act upon it. So he said to Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, tukhallifuni fi nisai was sibyan. Ya Rasulullah, you are making me look after Nisa and Sibyan, the women and children. Because all the men, they are going for the battle. All the men, all the Sahaba, they are going for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Tabuk. Listen to the reply of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. What was the maqam and the station of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the eyes of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, Ama tarda an takuna minni bimanzilati Harun min Musa ghayra annahu la nabiyya ba'di. Are you not happy, Ali? Are you not happy that an takuna minni bimanzilati Harun min Musa? That you become in my place like how Harun became in the place of Musa. Yes? When Hazrat Musa alayhi salam went for 40 days to get the book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he appointed somebody who was a Nabi, Hazrat Harun alayhi salam, that look after these people of Banu Israel. When I come back, they should be the way I left them. When Musa alayhi salam came back, all the story of Samari came, people started worshipping a statue of calf. And Hazrat Musa was extremely upset with Hazrat Harun, and Quran mentions this. Up to the extent, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, he held the beard of Hazrat Harun, and in some narrations he also slapped him. And he said, is this why I left you with these people? They fell in fitna. They left the deen, they started worshipping the calf. Hazrat Harun said, do not blame me. These were the people who did not listen to me. I did not want to cause fitna, and therefore I did not create the scene. Then the whole tafsir is there. So Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he said to Hazrat Sayyiduna Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that I am leaving you in my place the way Musa, he appointed Harun. Except, now this is something that Ahl Tashayyur, they need to learn. From these kind of ahadith, they say that look, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he already appointed Sayyidina Ali as the Khalifa. But they need to understand that when Hazrat Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala who was appointed upon the people of Medina, at the same time for the imamat and to lead the salah, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam appointed Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Maktoum. That Abdullah will lead the salah, Sayyidina Ali will look after all the other affairs in Medina. But when it came to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he called him 3 times that Muru Abu Bakr bis salah. Call Abu Bakr to lead the salah. Now for those Ahl Tashayyur who believe that Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was with Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam as a Nabi. There is a group of Shia who believe that Hazrat Ali was Nabi, not a Sahabi. For them, this Hadith Pak says, except, ghayra, except, annahu la nabiyya ba'di, that after me there is no prophet. So Harun, in the time of Musa alayhi salam, was appointed, but he was a prophet. I am appointing you, Ali, in my place when I'm in Tabuk, but there is no Nabi after me, which means you will still remain Sahabi. Nubuwwat is not there. Prophethood is not there. You are only appointed to look after the affairs that Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam has given you. Now, if you look at this hadith and the weight of the hadith, you will understand that Rasul Pak is leaving a great person and trusting him to look after the kingdom of Islam, whilst the entire army, all the men and the general who is Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam is out of Medina. This was the maqam and this was the station that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Who doesn't know the waqia of Khaybar? What happened in Khaybar? In the time of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, and we know very well that when Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he migrated from Makkatul Mukarramah to Medina, everyone was living very friendly. All the communities, Christians, Muslims, Jews, they all lived very friendly. But then there was a time when the pact that took place between different communities, Yahud and Jews, they broke their promise. And therefore, they were exiled, their tribes were exiled from Madinatul Munawwara. So they were no longer living in Medina. Many of them, they went to Khaybar and they lived there. When Sahaba, they went to Khaybar. And we know very well that many Sahaba, they tried to conquer that place. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam gave the alam of Islam from one Sahabi to another Sahabi to other Sahabi. But then Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, and again this is in Bukhari and Muslim, he said that لَأَعْتِيَنَّ الرَّايَةَ غَدًا رَجُلًا يَفْتَحُ اللَّهُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيُحِبُّهُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. That tomorrow this flag of Islam, I will give it in the hand of someone on whose hand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written the victory. What do we know from this hadith? The first thing, from this first sentence of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, we come to know that Nabi is alime ghaib. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We plan barbecue, it rains. We check the weather, it was good, but then it rained. Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam is giving this news to all the Sahaba that tomorrow whoever will get the flag, he will be the one who will give victory to Muslims. This guarantee and assurance. Now, none of the Sahabi got up and questioned Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, how do you know ilm ghaib? Did Allah give you ilm ghaib? Like today Wahhabis do. It is bid'at, it is shirk. If you believe ilm ghaib for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is shirk. Ghaib is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is ghaib? What is the definition of ghaib? Do you even know what Ahlul Sunnah believe about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ilm ghaib? You are getting confused with the knowledge of Allah and with what we believe about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah had given ilm ghaib. This is from Bukhari and Muslim. So it is not a narration which any Wahhabi can say we don't believe in this hadith. Bring it from Bukhari and Muslim. This is from Bukhari and Muslim. Take it. Prophet said, tomorrow that person will get it. And then another guarantee, that he loves Allah and His Rasul, and Allah and His Rasul love him. Now, who can give this guarantee? Who loves Allah? Who loves Allah? For sure, it is only Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam who can give this guarantee. Now, none of the Sahabi questioned. In fact, every Sahabi knew that what Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam has said, it will happen, and every single one of them wanted. فَبَاتَ النَّاسُ يَدُوكُونَ. This is what the words of hadith says. Yadukuna mean, you know when sometimes you have to travel in the morning, you're going on holidays and you can't sleep because that excitement. Sahaba, each of them thought, tomorrow it will be me. Tomorrow it is going to be myself that Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam is going to call. Allahu Akbar. Sahaba got together. فَلَمَّا أَصْبَحَ النَّاسُ غَدَوْا عَلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ كُلُّهُمْ يَرْجُوا أَنْ يُعْطَاهَا. All of them in the morning got together in front of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, waiting for their name to be called. Every one of them must have hoped and wished that today it will be my name that will be called when Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam opens his blessed mouth. What does Rasul Kareem do? Ayna Ali. Bukhari and Muslim says, Ayna Ali ibn Abi Talib. Where is Ali ibn Abu Talib? Prophet could see every Sahabi. There must be Sayyidina Abu Bakr in that crowd. There must be Sayyidina Umar in that crowd. There must be every other Sahabi who participated there. Prophet asked, Ayna Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now, one more thing that we understand and our aqidah is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is for our young people here, that we believe as Ahlul Sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted our beloved Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam certain authorities which no individual was granted. Individual mean apart from the Anbiya. Some of the Anbiya were given these qualities. What was that quality? When Prophet said, Ayna Ali, where is Ali? فَقِيلَ يَشْتَكِي عَيْنَيْهِ. Ya Rasulullah, he has a problem, sore eyes. So he is not here. Somebody who wasn't there, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam is looking for him. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَأَرْسِلُوا إِلَيْهِ. Send someone to bring him. فَأُتِيَ بِهِ. Sayyidina Ali was brought. What did Rasul Kareem do? Didn't ask him, oh, you are not well, go and rest. It was destined for Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu to be Fatih Khaybar. And Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam had mentioned it and promised to the companion, and it had to happen. فَبَصَقَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ فِي عَيْنَيْهِ. Rasul Kareem, he placed his blessed saliva in the eyes of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Now, Shaykhain, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, they say, what happened? فَدَعَى لَهُ. He placed the saliva and then he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Sayyidina Ali. Have you ever taken paracetamol when you have headache? Yes, many of us, because that's what we live on nowadays. The GPs always turn us back and say, go and take paracetamol, that's what you need. Even paracetamol, when we take any painkiller, it takes time. The effect, for it to work, it takes time. This is not the normal medicine. This is something which was from the greatest Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Instantly, as soon as Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he placed his saliva and prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he fabara'a, he got cured. Instantly he got cured. Prophet said, bring him. He placed his saliva, prayed for him. Sayyiduna Ali was cured. Because he was appointed as the one to make the Khaybar place for Muslims. Then at the end of the hadith it says, Hatta ka'allam yakun bihi waj'un. Sometimes you may feel that little bit of pain is still there after taking the medicine. The hadith pak here, he says that after Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wassalam's that blessed practice, it was as such, ka'allam yakun bihi waj'un. He never had that illness. That's how he felt, that he never had that problem. This is Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wassalam. Fa'a'tahu raya. Rasul Kareem gave that flag of Islam to Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Then the whole story you know, that how Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala who was victorious. So we listen to these stories, but we also try and understand what is our aqidah based on such ahadith and what do we believe in. They are not fairy tale stories. They are from the ahadith of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wassalam. Then the famous occasion of Ghadir Khum. Sahaba were coming back. A huge crowd of companions. Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, he calls Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, holds his hand in front of all the companion and raises the hand of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he says, Man kuntu mawlahu fa aliyun mawla. That whoever's mawla I am, Ali is their mawla. You have problem with us calling Ali Mushkil Kusha and Mawla Ali? What does Mushkil Kusha mean? The one who removes the difficulty. And what is the meaning of Mawla here? The one who helps. The one who helps, he is the one who removes the difficulty. Allah has given this power to Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam to be Mawla of Mu'mineen. And Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam gave that power of being Mawla to Sayyidina Ali Mushkil Kusha radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to be Mawla of Mu'minun. This is Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's great personality. The kind of knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem. A hadith pak mentioned in several places in Sahih hadith. Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he says that once Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, he appointed me as a governor of Yemen. He says, Ba'athani Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ila Yemen. As a governor. Now these are the effects that a Sahabi gets from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam instantly. Faqultu ya Rasulullah. So I said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ba'astani wa ana shabun. You are sending me and I'm a young man. He must have thought to himself that I do not have experience of being a governor. What would I do? So when he said this, Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, and then he also said that aqdi bainahum, I'm a young man and you are sending me to do fasla, give judgment for those people. And he said, wala adri mal qada. What is the qada? I don't know about justice. How am I going to do fasla and justice among people? فَضَرَبَ صَدْرِي بِيَدِهِ. That Ali says, Daraba, Prophet struck Sadri, my chest, with his hand. ثُمَّ قال. Then Prophet ﷺ, he made the dua, Allahumma hadi qalbahu. O Allah, give guidance to the heart of Ali. Give the guidance to the heart of Ali. وَثَبِّتْ لِسَانَهُ, and straighten his language, his tongue. So when he speaks, whatever comes out of the tongue of Ali is the truth. This is the dua of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Ala Hazrat says, Ijabat ka joda, inayat ka joda, ijabat ka sehra, dulhan ban ke nikli duae Muhammad. When a bride is completely ready, and she's ready to be sent to her house, her husband's house, it is not rejected then. Hardly in this country we see. In general, a bride is never rejected. Once she is ready and she is sent from her father's house, she is always accepted. Ala Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnah taking istiara from there and is saying that when Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal always accepted the dua of his beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So when Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala who was sent to Yemen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted the dua of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, and Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala's faisla. Even in the time of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq and Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Sayyidina Umar used to say, Aliyun aqda baynana. Ali is the most just one among us. Why did he say that? Because he knew that Rasul Kareem alayhi salam's dua is affecting the faisla of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the positive way. Now, under this hadith pak, Sahib As-Sawaiqul Muhriqah is mentioning one occasion from the time of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam. If you listen to this, it will give you some idea. We can't understand the entire knowledge of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. It is not us. We do not have that ability to fully understand this great personality and this great companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So under this hadith, it's been mentioned that in one of the hadiths, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ana jalisan ma'a jama'atin min ashabi. Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, he was sitting with a group of his companion. Whilst he was sitting, faja'a khasmani. There were two people, they came with their problem. They had some issue, they came with their issue. فَقَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا, one of them, they said, Ya Rasulullah, إِنَّ لِي حِمَارًا وَإِنَّ لَهَا بَقَرَةً. I've got a donkey, and this person with me, he is owner of a cow. And he said, Inna baqaratahu qatalat himari. His cow has killed my donkey. Donkeys and mules used to be a way of transportation in the time of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even today they are used as the mean of taking some help from them. So he said, his cow has killed my donkey. فَبَدَأَ رَجُلٌ مِّنَ الْحَاذِرِينَ. One of the men who were sitting in front of Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, La dhamana alal bahaim. There is no compensation on what animals do. If the animal has killed another animal, what compensation do you want? But then, among them it was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Look at the intelligence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem. Faqala sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, Iqdi baynahuma ya Ali. O Ali, do faisla between these two. What is your verdict about these two? What is your final verdict in this matter? فَقَالَ عَلِيٌّ لَهُمَا. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala who said to them, أَكَانَ مُرْسَلَيْنِ أَمْ مَشْدُودَيْنِ. Were they tied or were they not tied? Or one of them was tied and other one wasn't tied. فَقَالَ كَانَ الْحِمَارُ مَشْدُودًا. So it was said to him that the donkey was tied. وَالْبَقَرَةُ مُرْسَلَةً. And the cow was untied. وَصَاحِبُهَا مَعَهَا. And the owner of cow was with the cow when cow killed the donkey. You understood the detail now? فقال علي Sayyiduna Maulai Kainat Ali Sher Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala, he said, Ala sahibil baqarati zamanul himar. The owner of the cow has to pay the compensation to the owner of donkey. فَأَقَرَّ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ حُكْمَهُ. Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he validated the judgment of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, wa amla qada'ahu. And Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he in other words said that this is how it should be done. Look at the detail now. If you use a little bit of depth and think about it, that if the owner of that animal was with the cow, he should have looked after his own animal. Because donkey was tied, donkey couldn't move. So in this matter, donkey was the Mazloom one. This is what Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is. And this is how Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the famous hadiths that Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he mentioned that the Sahaba mentioned that when Rasul Pak alayhi salatu wasalam, he used to be angry. When Prophet ﷺ was upset with someone, then there was only one person who would talk to Prophet. And who was that person? It was Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. إِذَا غَضِبَ لَمْ يَجْتَرِي أَحَدٌ أَن يُكَلِّمَهُ إِلَّا Ali radiyallahu ta'ala. सिवाय हज़रत अली के कोई ऐसा नहीं था जो हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से बात कर सकता. फिर एक मशहूर हदीस पाक है. In that hadith about the knowledge of Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam stated that ana madinatul ilmi wa aliyun babuha. I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the door of that knowledge. And many scholars, they have classed this hadith as hadith Hasan. But it's in virtues again. So you know that we accept, and all the muhaddisun, they accept the ahadith of virtue even if they are da'if. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was classed as the door of the knowledge. Now, one problem in today's day and age I have, and we have Sayyid Sahab next to me. The problem is, if a person belongs, and I have utmost respect for Sadat-e Kiram. Those who are present here, they know it, and those who are not, they also know it. I have great respect for Sadat-e Kiram, but as an alim, sometimes I feel what we are lacking in. What's happening in today's day and age is that many times, if a person belongs to the family of Sayyid, most of the time their children, they are deprived from the Islamic knowledge. And in worst case scenario, the person is peer, big peer, and belongs to the Sadat, but their children are empty from knowledge. Yes? At the beginning, Hazrat's son, Madni Bukhari, who graduated from our institute, and Alhamdulillah, his one son is Hafiz, is completing his hifz. His one son is graduated from our Islamic Center, Darul Uloom, this recent year. When his son was studying, I said to him, using this hadith pak, that why do I feel that Sadat has been deprived by the awam, you and I, from the knowledge of Islam? From the young age, when their child is young, we start to kiss their hands. We make them feel like this is the life. You just have to make people kiss your hands and that's it, done and dusted. What is the state of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu? How is he known as? He is known for his ilm, from many other virtues he has. One of the great virtue is Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is Madinatul ilm. And I used to tell his son that the more right people have over the knowledge are the Sadat-e Kiram. They should be into the field of knowledge. They should be the ulama. They should be the fuqaha. And they should be the muhaddisun instead of just being the zinat of stage. They should be in this field. It is the wirasat of their father and grandfather, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala. ये उनकी विरासत है. हमने अपने पीरों के बच्चों को इल्म से दूर किया, उनके हाथ चूम के, और बचपन से उनको हमने ये सिखाया कि तुम्हारा रास्ता मदरसा नहीं, तुम्हारा रास्ता दारुलूम नहीं, तुम्हारा रास्ता किसी आलिम के पास जाकर इल्म सीखना नहीं, तुम बस यहीं बैठो, हम तुम्हारे हाथ चूमते. हमने इनकी जो है इस तरह से हमने सादात को ट्रीट किया. ये हक उनका है. हज़रत अली इल्म के दरवाजे हैं, उनकी विरासत अगर सादात में नहीं होगी तो फिर किसके पास होगी? हम तो खादिम हैं इनके. दिस बिलोंग्स टू देम. हज़रत सैयदना अली रज़ी अल्लाह तआला अन्हु, टाइम काफ़ी हो गया है, इंशाअल्लाह विद इन 10 minutes we will try and conclude. हज़रत सैयदना अली करमल्लाहु तआला वजहुल करीम, after Sayyidina Usman Ghani passed away, he became the Khalifa. And after 3 days of passing away of Sayyidina Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the Khilafat of Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was established on 21st of Zulhajj in 30th Hijri. But comparing to the old Khulafa previously, the time of the Khilafah time of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu had been the most difficult one, the most painful one, and the most trial and tribulation one. The reason is, from the beginning, there had been many places where the fitna and this tribulation had started within Muslims. You had group of people, those who came and who martyred Sayyidina Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Then you had group of people, there was a person known as Abdullah ibn Saba. Now today we see, Muslims are being attacked from, in some places, from the enemies who are not Muslims. And they are creating enemies within Muslims. Abdullah ibn Saba was somebody who belonged to Jews. And he belonged to a very well-known Jew family of Medina. Then they were chased out. They tried a lot in the time of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, in the time of Sayyidina Usman Ghani. They tried that from outside, if they can damage Islam and they can damage the Khilafah of these great personalities. It didn't work. And then Abdullah ibn Saba, he accepted Islam, became Muslim. But the reason why he became Muslim is to come in and damage Islam from within. And the fitna that took place in the time of Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, the tribulation that took place in the time of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, one of the main person to start these, it was Abdullah ibn Saba. He accepted kalima, but he came in Islam to damage Islam, to wipe Islam from the face of earth. But Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala, as Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam had given ilm ghaib, and from pre-told information, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he knew that there will be time when I will lose my life and I will be martyred. As in one of the hadiths, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has mentioned to Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that when you will be martyred, there will be some blood in your beard. Now Abdullah ibn Saba, he prepared 3 people, and one of them was Ibn Muljim, and 2 more people. They wanted to wipe 3 very famous companions of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. One of them was Sayyidina Ali, and then Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah as well. They met in Makkah, they decided the date, and they left there for their mission to finish these great companions. Because these were the ones that if Sayyidina Ali is gone, there was Amir Muawiyah, and he would lead Islam. If Amir Muawiyah is gone, then there was another Sahabi, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would lead. They wanted all these three great ones to go. So there is no one, and there will be so many fitna that Islam will not stand. But they did not know Islam is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not depend on an individual. That individual is there to serve according to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as long and as much as possible. Today we can see the examples. So Ibn Muljim, he came to Kufa, because Kufa, after Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, he became the Khalifa. Kufa was his center. He came to Kufa. He also made friendship with Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Presented himself as somebody who loves Hazrat Maulai Kainat Ali Sher Khuda radiallahu ta'ala anhu. But in the month of Ramadan, he had a mission. And this Khariji are those who hate Ahl Bayt Athhar. Khariji are those who have no regards and respect for Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. At the beginning I mentioned that we alhamdulillah are not Khariji, we alhamdulillah are not Rafidi, we are the ones who love Ahl Bayt, and we are the ones who love Ashabi Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We are the ones who are on the moderate path of Ahlus Sunnati wa Jama'at. We are not Shia, we are not Khariji. This Khariji, in the month of Ramadan, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was going to Masjid, Fajr time. And there have been mentioned that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu knew that he was about to depart from this dunya. And he said to those who used to sit with Sayyidina Ali, that why my murderer is taking too long. Why my murderer is taking too long. And few days before, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu used to, he stopped eating the way he used to. Only 3 morsels he was eating. Hasnain Karimain said that you are eating too less. Hazrat Maula Ali said that when I meet my Lord, I want to meet him empty stomach. Today, our life, with the will of Allah, it is luxurious. But still we are ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more we have, the more ungratefulness we show to Allah Azza wa Jal. This great Sahabi is giving us this lesson that when you leave and meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should be in the state where Allah is pleased with you. It was Fajr time. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala who was performing his Sunnati Mu'akkada. In his second rakat, Ibn Muljim attacked on the blessed head of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and it was so severe that the sword reached all the way to the earlobe of Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem. He fell there and then. Blood was gushing out from the blessed head of Sayyidina Ali Sher Khuda radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Ibn Muljim was captured, and Imam Hassan and Imam Husain radiallahu ta'ala anhu, they were holding Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. You could imagine the pain that they must have felt. You could imagine the pain of Muslims in that masjid of Kufa. That the one who was chosen by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for his beloved daughter, Sayyida Kainat Khatun Jannat radiyallahu ta'ala anha, today so-called Muslims, and the one who prayed the kalima of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, attacked. Hazrat Maulai Kainat radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was brought to his blessed house, and according to some narration, it took only one day. The next day, on 21st of Ramadan, Sayyidina Mawla Ali Sher Khuda, he departed from this dunya. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This great personality who was praised by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the great individual who was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be in the nikah of Khatun Jannat, Sayyida Kainat Fatimatu Zahra radiyallahu ta'ala anha, he departed from this dunya in such a painful way. For us, it is painful. Yes, we do feel the way these great leaders were martyred. But behind all of these martyrdoms, there is always courage that they have given to the Islam and Muslims. That even though these great companions were martyred in such manner, Islam did not weaken after that. And today we see the Islam, the way we see in this country and around the world, it is the sadaqah, and it is they were the mean by their shahadat and by their lives. They gave the blood to the tree of Islam, and today the tree is flourishing. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala unki qabron par be intiha rahmat nazil farmaye. Najaf Ashraf till today is the place where hundreds and thousands and millions of Muslims visit and pay their respect to Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem. Allah hमें भी वहाँ की ज़ियारत अता फरमाए. वमा अलैना इल्लल बलाग. अस्सलामु अलैकुम. सभी हज़रात सलात व सलाम के लिए खड़े.
मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पेला शम्अ बज़ में हिदायत पेला खो सलाम हम गरीबों के आका पे बेहद दुरूद हम फकीरों की सरवत पे लाखों सलाम मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पे लाखों सलाम मुर्तज़ा शेर हक़ अशजाउल अशजाइन साकिये शीरो शरबत पे लाखों सलाम मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पे लाखों सलाम शम्अ बज़ में हिदायत पे लाखों सलाम असले नस्ले सफ़ा वजह वसले खुदा बाबे फसले विलायत पे लाखों सलाम मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पे लाखों सलाम शम्अ बज़ में हिदायत पे लाखों सलाम शेर शमशीर जन शाह खैबर शिकन पर तोए दस्ते कुदरत पे लाखों सलाम मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पे लाखों सलाम शम्अ बज़ में हिदायत पे लाखों सलाम माहिए रिफ़्ज़ो तफ़ज़ीलो नस्बो खुरूज हामिए दीनो सुन्नत पे लाखों सलाम मुझसे खिदमत के कुदसी कहेगा रज़ा मुझसे खिदमत के कुदसी कहे रज़ा मुस्तफ़ा जाने रहमत पे लाखों सलाम शम्अ बज़ में हिदायत पे लाखों सलाम.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. مولا کریم اپنے کرم سے آج کی اس مبارک محفل یاد شہداء کربلا کو اپنی بارگاہ بے کس پناہ میں شرف قبولیت عطا فرما. مولا کریم جتنے حاضرین سامعین سامعات ہیں سب کی حاضری کو سب کے ذکر و اذکار سننے اور سنانے کو صلاۃ و سلام کا جو نذرانہ پیش کیا گئی تمام کو اپنی بارگاہ میں قبول فرما. تمام کا ثواب سب سے پہلے ہمارے آقا رسول کریم رؤوف الرحیم سید دو عالم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی روح پرفتوح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں قبول فرما. رسول کریم علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کے توسط سے جملہ انبیاء کرام و رسولان اعظام حضور علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی جملہ ازواج مطہرات، جمیع اہل بیت اطہار، حضور کے جملہ صاحبزادے صاحبزادگان، خاصتاً سید کائنات سیدہ طیبہ طاہرہ فاطمۃ الزہرا رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کی روح پرفتوح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ حضرات حسنین کریمین رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہما کی مقدس ارواح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ پھر خصوصاً بالخصوص حضرت مولا کائنات علی شیر خدا مشکل کشا رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ وکرم اللہ تعالیٰ وجہہ الکریم کی روح پاک کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ حضور کے جملہ صحابہ کرام خاصتاً عشر مبشرہ، جملہ صحابیات، تابعین، طبع تابعین، ائمہ مجتہدین، اولیاء کاملین، خصوصاً بالخصوص حضرت پیر پیرا امیر مینا سینا وسن اللہ شیخ عبد القادر جیلانی شہباز لامکانی، حضرت داتا گنج بخش علی حجویری، حضرت خواجہ معین الدین چشتی حسن سنجری اور جملہ سلاسل کے تمام بزرگان دین کے ارواح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ خاصتاً حضرت علامہ شاہد رضا نعیمی رحمۃ اللہ تعالی علیہ کی روح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ پھر جتنے بھی یہاں حاضرین حاضرات اپنے گھروں میں سننے والے سامعین سامعات مولا کریم سب کے مرحومین مؤمنین کے ارواح کو ایصال کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ شہدائے کرب و بلا کے صدقے میں مولا کریم تمام مرحومین کی بے حساب مغفرت فرما، اپنے کرم سے سب کی قبروں پر رحمتوں کا نزول فرما۔ جتنے حاضرین ہیں ان میں جو پریشان حال ہیں مولا کریم شہدائے کرب و بلا کے صدقے میں سب کی پریشانیوں کو دور فرما، حضرات حسنین کریمین کے صدقے میں سب کو خوشیاں عطا فرما، سب کی تکالیف کو دور فرما۔ مولا کریم ان مقدس محفلوں کے صدقے میں ہم تمام کے غموں کو راحتوں میں تبدیل فرما۔ جن گھروں میں آپس میں نا اتفاقیاں ہیں مولا کریم اپنے کرم سے ان میں محبتیں پیدا فرما، جن میاں بیوی میں آپس میں ناچاکی ہیں مولا کریم اپنے کرم سے انہیں محبتیں اور الفتیں عطا فرما، جو رشتوں کے تلاش میں مولا کریم انہیں نیک صالح رشتے عطا فرما، جو اولاد والے ہیں ان کی اولاد کو نیک بنا، جو اولاد کے متلاشی مولا کریم ان خواہش مند ہیں ان کے خواہشوں کو اور نیک تمناؤں کو پورا فرما۔ مولا کریم رزق حلال میں وسعتیں برکتیں عطا فرما، ہم تمام کو صحابہ کرام کی سچی محبت سے مالا مال فرما، حضرت مولا کائنات کی الفت سے مالا مال فرما، اہل بیت اطہار کی بارگاہوں کا مؤدب بنا، ان کی خدمت کر کے مولا کریم ہم تمام کو جنت حاصل کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرما، جب تک زندہ رکھ ایمان پر زندہ رکھ، ایمان پر خاتمہ بالخیر عطا فرما۔ صلی اللہ تعالی علی خیر خلقہ ونور عرشہ محمد وآلہ وصحبہ اجمعین برحمتک یا ارحم الراحمین۔ Quick reminder, every day alhamdulillah we provide niyaz for all the brothers, all the sisters. I would humbly request you, please on your way out, take part, donate generously for the salih sawab of your marhumeen, as well as for the khiraj aqidat of Shuhada'i Karbala. Allah aapki atiyat ko qabul farmaye. I would also like to thank everyone, all the younger, all the ones, sisters who came today. Allah Ta'ala آپ سب کی حاضری کو قبول فرمائے، جو بھی نیاز کا اہتمام کرتے ہیں، نیاز میں حصہ لیتے ہیں، اللہ تعالیٰ ان سب کو دونوں جہان کی برکتیں عطا فرمائے۔